GM, we have a very special episode today. We've got DWR, Dan Romero, live with us right now. Adrian, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Choo-choo.
Are you excited? Choo-choo. Choo-choo. Here we go. And really quick, we're going to do a little intro, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Nanish Prof and Adrian, for another episode of GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster, it is Thursday, February 6th, and you are here with Nanish Prof and Adrian for a very special episode with our special guest, Dan Romero, co-founder of Farcaster, to talk about the insanity of the shipping that's happening in the past week or so, and catch us all up. Dan, how are you? GM, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
We're so glad to have you. By the way, Dan, whenever Dan's on, like you're one of the few guests, we don't worry about audio. Your microphones are very good. quality mic. So it sounds great.
Can I cast this out? Like, is there a link you can share with me?
Yes. Actually, I just tagged you on Twitter if you want to retweet that. And we will tag you on, I'll drop the link in here really quick. Of Adrian, can you grab the link from when we casted it, where you casted it, and just drop it in our little chat, and I'll grab the Twitter one. It's a lot. I just tagged you on the Twitter one, so it is showing that.
And then let's get it out on Farcaster.
On Warpcast, yeah, that we're live now.
And you've got distribution.
There are more than one client.
He's got like a lot of distribution. Yeah, he's got people who follow him. I don't know if you know. He's kind of a big deal. Yeah. So we are, one of the things we haven't quite figured out yet, but we will, is how we can get this do stream as well on Warpcast and have it all tie in together. So we're working on that, but it's still a little tricky. So
yeah, I think on that, we actually want to get to a place where we can have the like minimized frame that can be playing in the background. That would be
nice. Ideal. Yeah.
Then you could create that for any type of streaming, right? So like Stream is an example of an app. Maybe even Lonely comes back from Solana and wants to do things. But like basically you can have these native creators that are doing video content much more integrated into Warpcast.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'd love to, that would be funny if Brian comes back. Have there been discussions about that?
What do you mean discussions?
If Brian coming, any discussion, any indication that Brian's going to move back?
I would just ask Brian. I mean,
I don't know.
The thing I do for Brian is whenever Brian runs into trouble, I try to help him. But
and we appreciate that about you.
He's gonna choose to do what he wants to do.
We have a bunch of different things to ask you about, and we know we're going to have questions in the chat too.
Okay. Look at those tabs.
We got a lot of tabs. But we'll go through them quick. Loved this, and this kind of begs the question. Go ahead.
I found the caster. I found the caster you can recast.
Do people even know? I mean, you guys know because we're all old.
Yeah, because we're old.
So like, do the Gen Z people even know what this like is a play on?
That's an excellent question.
Do they even know what a CPU is, right? Like, I mean, GPUs are the craze now, but in our era, people cared about Moore's law and like, gigahertz. Like, yeah, well, I guess megahertz.
Let's see. Gen Z, if you're in the chat. Oh, okay. Well, I have a feeling I know who that is, and you're not Gen Z. So, maybe Shia. I don't know. Okay, so we know some people know. Some people know, but I think some of them are a little older.
If you know, you know, right?
If you know, you know. So yeah, this is a play off the Intel Inside, and it's very marketing-y. And it kind of begs the question we had from Matthew here that everybody has: who manages the Farcaster XYZ account? In other words, who's the intern?
I mean, that does the intern want to be revealed? Like, I think that the intern can remain anonymous and just be the intern, right?
Okay. All right. We're going to play it that way. All right.
Are you enjoying the Twitter content?
Enjoying it very much so. I think it's great. It's been great to see more content about Farcaster popping up just in my feed organically. So even without without the Farcaster account doing it, but it's been great to see that account get really active. So yeah, I think everyone
how would you improve the account? If I was to give feedback to the intern, what would you do differently?
I like what you're doing. I think a little bit more, just continuing like to retweet and proliferate those who are creating on Farcaster or about Farcaster. Cool. So media as well as the, like, when Farcade releases something, when Clanker, when, all those different things, just getting more push for those, I think. Anything, what do you think, Adrian?
Anything? Yeah, that's great. And, I'm not actually on X that often. So I haven't been seeing as much. The algorithm, when I do go on, does know I like Farcaster content.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a lot of Farcaster content, but I think it's great. So just more.
Just more. Just more. Okay. See the difference between
that to the intern.
Let me explain something. You retweeted this, and we have more. Like we have about triple, quadruple who we normally have by this point in the show. So.
Right.
It makes a huge difference, like even just to get more eyes on all the things that all the people are doing, not just us. So that would be amazing. But we're loving it. We're loving the increased exposure. And I think it's time. There's so much going on. We need to start sharing it with the world. So yeah, but great job. Whoever the intern is, we like what they're doing. And this was really helpful, by the way. For the show in particular, this particular cast. So I want to just kind of read through this and then ask you about it and see what else is in the plan. This is from Dan yesterday. Our current plan: 1, grow the number of daily active users on Farcaster. That's been top priority for, I don't know, the whole time I've been here. 2, this benefits creators because they have a larger potential audience. 3, this also benefits developers because they have a large potential user base. 4, super joining Warpcast allows us to invest more time on growth, number 1. 5, Base bringing Farcaster into Coinbase Wallet, an app that has millions of existing users, helps with growth, number 1. 6, we're working on several big growth initiatives, both product-led, Woj will be helping with this, and marketing sales-led, more announcements here soon. 7, we're investing more time in outbound messaging. You've likely seen our X Twitter account get more active recently, and we will be doing more here as well. Product priority wise, I'm just going to read through this really quick. Make on-chain UX great in frames, increase signups, Snapchain. Protocol wise, for developers, Snapchain, cheap signups, sign in with Farcaster, and a plan for DC APIs. Client diversity, see the cast below. Base will bring a large existing user base to Farcaster Graph. Warpcast will lose market share, and that's a good thing for the protocol. 2, there will be a bunch of other Farcaster clients you can use today. Okay, so let's dive into some of these things. That was a lot, and a lot of this ties into a lot of things that have happened in this past week. One of them being my image behind me. So Woj has joined Merkle officially and is now going to be working on the team with the team directly. And he did make this announcement yesterday. It was, and he was like in our chat while we're talking about him, and he gave us zero indication.
He said announcement. Yeah, he said announcement coming in an hour.
I thought, the dog was doing something. I don't know, like. Dog's getting I was waiting or AI pets, where are my pets, something like that. But then this was totally, I did not see this coming at all. So Super is joining Warpcast, and then so what does that mean? Like, what do you envision that job is doing? What is Woj sort of tasked with doing, and what do you see, why did you decide to kind of move in that direction? Mostly your focus has been the infra and hiring engineers. And this seems like you're starting to kind of move a little beyond that. And can you talk a little bit about those decisions?
Yeah, so maybe just step back. Goal is to increase the number of users on the protocol. That benefits creators and developers, right? The two constituents. You guys are creators, maybe even dabble in the dev side of things for some of the frames
She
that
does.
you guys have worked on. Right, but the point is that actually blends on Farcaster, which is cool. And then obviously from a developer standpoint, like your goal is like get people to use your app, right? And I think where we have a bunch of great infrastructure today, right? You have the protocol, you have multiple clients, and now you have frames as kind of like this developer surface area, this programmable social network. Just need more people to be able to actually get to use this stuff, right? Like that's the whole point, right? The long-term goal is 1 billion people using Farcaster. That's going to take a while, and that's ambitious, but like that is like what we're optimizing for. Like that's the success case, right? And you have a bunch of the cynical or negative people will like whatever do their non-casting about that, but that's like what we are building. That's what we've been building since the beginning. Things have obviously changed in terms of like where we're focused or like kind of the strategy, but the like end thing that we are trying to build towards is an internet scale protocol that anyone can use and build apps on top of, right? And so actually a lot of the infrastructure we've set out to build now exists, and I think with Snapchain, like it'll kind of give us even more headroom to grow. But the limiting factor is like we need more people to use Farcaster, right? So that is like the thing that Varun and I wake up every day and think about. It's like what can we be doing to increase the number of people using Farcaster every day? So downstream of that, one is we are limited on the stuff that we can work on. We're a team of 13, and so hiring talented engineers and product people who can help drive that. And we really believe in product-led growth. We've talked about this quite a bit over the years, but Woj has shown proven builder in the space. Like he built the most successful other client on the Farcaster protocol basically by himself. I mean, he's added some other people to help over the last year, but more or less took that bet pretty early and has been successful on it. And so in a 2025 where we're kind of, it's like the make or break year for what we're trying to do, our point of view is like let's kind of have the efforts kind of be aligned. And so he's joining the team as an engineer. So it's like he's working alongside any of the other people that you may follow from the Merkle team. And I think growth is the thing that we're focused on. So he's going to go work on that alongside the other engineers in the team, right? So it's not like he's off on a corner doing his own thing. It's like part of a cohesive strategy. But yeah,
I was trying to figure that out because I wasn't sure if he had a different area that he was focused on where there was more like discussion of growth and product. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think just the way to think about it is like he has a proven track record in the ecosystem, and we're really excited to have him kind of like being a little bit more coordinated with us. I think one thing that's nice about a decentralized network is he can go run a bunch of experiments, Superanon being a great example of that, that have no input, totally permissionless, right, from us. But in a world where he's working with us at Merkle, Varun and I are kind of like laying down like here's the strategy, here's a set of priorities, and then working closely with the folks on the team to actually execute against that. And so I think there is a benefit to having kind of everyone rowing in the exact same direction, and collaborating obviously in terms of figuring out like what are the experiments or ideas that we should be working on. I think the second thing, and just like that post, there was a little stream of consciousness yesterday. Just kind of saw, it was funny, like the base announcement, there actually wasn't as much negativity, and I expected there to be some. And then I think yesterday with Woj, there was more negativity, which I was expecting some, and not towards Woj, but it's just like grumbling. And so naturally, when there's the grumbling that's happening on the network, I kind of want to create a single place where people can point to and say, here's the clearly articulated set of reasons we're doing what we're doing. And then I wanted to incorporate some of the other stuff that we've been doing kind of independent of the kind of base announcement and the super announcement, which is some of the—
Dan, was the negativity, and I actually didn't see much of it at all. Was it like, when I read it, I kind of anticipated it. Was it this isn't decentralized?
It's just a variety of different things. It's funny. I always say I see the negativity, and then people are like, wait, I didn't see the negativity. I want to see the negativity. And then Varun's like, just don't talk about the negativity because now you're creating like a Streisand effect for it. I think the reality is I spend a lot of time on Farcaster and I read a lot of replies, even if I don't acknowledge them. I do listen and kind of get a sense for the network. Despite contrary, memes.
What's helpful for that? What's really helpful for that? The trending feed.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I looked at the trending feed. No one uses
I look at it every day.
Yeah, there you go. There was a time when I did, but now I don't have time for the trending feed. So I think that there's like a couple of things. So one would be, Woj built the kind of like other client in the ecosystem. Merkle is nefariously acquiring a competitor to remove other clients from the ecosystem. It's like people just like memory hold the day before. It's like Coinbase with their big existing Coinbase Wallet app is rebuilding it from the ground up and like completely new experience. And they're front and center putting a Farcaster feed. Normally, most people on protocols in crypto, like when you're trying to get people to use them, that's like celebrated of like, yes, more people are adopting this. They're using it like that. That's good for me if I'm excited about the protocol.
Yeah.
But I think there's just generally a set of people who like, their immediate reaction is, how can I take a negative take on this? Because maybe it's engagement farming or just that's how you're wired. But like, I think like skepticism is fine. Like that's actually healthy. Like, but there's a way of doing it without constantly just being negative. And so, look, I have to deal with that. That's my job. But I think that there's a certain aspect of just like, we're going to continue to make progress.
I think there's critical feedback and then there's just general negativity. General negativity isn't helpful. Critical feedback is helpful. And I've seen you listen to that and respond to that and even incorporate some of that when it's useful. I did want to ask this question.
Like basically people who take the time to offer feedback in a kind of like critical, less emotional, like more just like, hey, here are some thoughts. Like I spent some time thinking about it. I actually tried to think from your perspective a bit too. That naturally is someone I'm like, whoa, okay, like I should actually engage more here. Like this is like a gift. It's like valuable.
Yeah,
I think the like kind of chirping cabal like stuff. It's just like, okay, fine, cute.
Yeah.
But like you're just not going to get the same level of engagement from me. And then you can kind of get self-righteous about it being like, well, you just don't want to listen to the truth. And it's like, okay, first of all, like if you're actually serious, like put it next to a name, not like,
a non-stuff,
like a non-account, which by the way, I think that there's a time and place for a non-stuff that's actually great. I think super non's great. I think a non-cast is great. But there's an aspect of like, have a little bit of courage. If you kind of want to criticize, like be willing to put it next to your name. And it's like, oh, well, I'll have repercussions. It's like, wait, but what world are you living in? Like that doesn't actually happen. So
doesn't happen.
That would be what I would push on people is
we literally had this conversation yesterday too. And I was like very, very much in that camp of like, stand behind your opinion. There aren't going to be the consequences that you think there are. It rarely, unless you're a whistleblower in a large agency or something. In that case, okay. But like most of the time, it's you're overthinking it and like just stand behind it and have a conversation because then you can have a conversation about whatever that is with the person rather than you're not going to respond to that kind of thing on an anonymous take. So
and I mean,
totally agree with that.
Casting, like I see it all. Like people think that like I'm not paying attention. I use Farcaster quite a bit. It's also personal motivations. Anytime someone wants to be like, oh, I think you're, I'm doubting you guys or doing that. It's just like that's fuel for the fire. Like I love just shutting up and executing. So
I do want to clarify this. Did you acquire Super or just Woj? And that's what I was trying to just want to make sure because I'm not. So it's like, and somebody else asked me this question too. Are some of the features that are built into Super going to make their way to Warpcast, like scheduling? There was, there's a couple things that people use and really love.
Some of the features that, frankly, we would have added maybe
eventually
in the last year had Woj not been working on this. So it's like kind of narrative violation. We actually do try to carve out space at the expense of our product. Like scheduling is a feature I think most people would want.
Yeah.
But Woj added it first, and so we actually wanted to give them space on that. So like. If you talk to the
that's really nice to hear.
We do try to be helpful for
that's
people.
Great.
Like we like say it's like, what are your top priorities? Like how can we be better helpful? And then kind of there's a group of people that seem to think that we don't actually talk to developers both like privately and then on a bi-weekly basis, we hold an open dev call where
Yeah.
we're actually really transparent about what we're thinking. But like, again, I think that there's a, I don't know if it's like victimhood or just kind of it's fun to be cynical. Like, there's a variety of different reasons when like, I don't know, we're just trying to make progress, and like, we're not always going to get it right. And sometimes we take 2 steps backwards, but we try to course correct and just keep going. And it's like, I sit in the seat every day and try to, move the protocol forward a bit. I think there was one question, how do you punishing non-believers in the super non-chat logs? We have no interest, nor like you can ask Woj, we're not gonna like have access to that. And so I think the goal is Supercast, have it run for a few more months. So there's kind of a transition for people. We probably look at features that we can add to the app that will kind of make people's lives easier. I know people talk scheduling. I know people have talked multi-account support, which we've
That's the other one. Yeah, I was trying to remember there was one more that people were
I think
asking
like we'll
for.
take a look at that. We'll also talk to other developers in the ecosystem, and then kind of like make the right set of calls. And then there's a version where super anon becomes a frame, right? And then that can just kind of exist. So that could happen. And then I think the goal is to open source super. So it's actually like a something for the ecosystem for other people to benefit from.
I think that's great. So those are I was trying to clarify that because a lot of people had asked me that, and I'm like, I don't know. Good question. So let's jump into, I want to move to the Coinbase Wallet announcement and talk to you a little bit about that. That's another big question on everybody's mind. Hold on, where's my Jesse? Here it is. So yesterday, Jesse casted this, hello from Coinbase Wallet. And the day before that, we had the announcement with videos. You were in that talking about this integration of Farcaster's feed within the Coinbase Wallet. So a couple questions on that. What exactly does that look like? And, and what's the sort of goal of that? And then also, when do we expect to see that? I see that he's testing it. It seems like he's testing it, but I don't think it's live for everyone yet. And like, what's your, like, what's exciting you about this? Like, what's the big push here?
Yeah. So one, very much Base should tell their story, their timelines. I'm not speaking for them.
Okay.
My sense is that there's still a bunch of work to do. So I don't think it's launching tomorrow, although they could surprise me based on that cast. But I think that they do have a decent amount of work to kind of, there's a lot of complexity.
Because they're rebuilding the whole thing. It's not just about that. There's a number of different things they're doing.
They're adopting Farcaster. So there's a lot of work to kind of go add to kind of get to some level of feature parity with Warpcast. Because I think that that's the desired goal, is like anyone on Farcaster could go use Coinbase Wallet, their new app, when that kind of is out as the daily driver for Farcaster. And we're going to do a bunch of work on the backside, on the protocol side of like, to just like kind of make sure that stuff works. I think the second thing is the big unlock for us is like, this is a serious is the wrong word, because people building clients can be serious. I think it's a well-funded, big investment from the biggest, most credible company in crypto in terms of adopting the Farcaster protocol. And which I think is a unique thing that hasn't happened, is they're bringing their existing user base, right? So there is a net new group of people with funded crypto wallets, okay, who are now going to plug into Farcaster and provide potential bigger audience for creators, as well as funded wallets essentially for people who are building frames if they're doing stuff on chain. And so I think that's why it's really significant. Is it's the first time we're actually having another app bring a significant number of users, right? Like one reality or critique, depending on who you are, of Farcaster's growth strategy thus far has been this product-led growth through Warpcast, right? It's like our belief is that no one else is going to do the hard work of bringing users if Warpcast isn't willing to do that. And we've had some people do some signups, but for the most part, like, new signups come through Warpcast. That will not be the case in a world where Coinbase Wallet like allows you to just onboard the Coinbase Wallet and have a Farcaster signup that happens within it.
Is Coinbase Wallet going to be an actual full client, or is this more like it's hard to like, will frames work?
I think you should assume that it will be
Okay.
like comparable to Warpcast. Will there be every single feature and all the things that you need? I think that probably not, but I think people will be impressed with the execution. It won't feel like a kind of like afterthought based on kind of the stuff that I've seen from them and talking to Jesse and the team. Aniri is on Farcaster, been pretty active. She was at Dev Day. Like she's leading on that side. John Granada, who just joined, who I previously worked with at Coinbase. He's really great. He was in the video. Like he's driving that.
Yeah,
so
he's in this. He's in whoops. Yeah, he's in that video.
Basically, if you care about Farcaster, to think that there's any version of this where it could be seen as a negative, like this is the whole reason to build the protocol and like why we've been trying to do everything we've been doing, so other people start to adopt it and then bring users, right? So I think it's a huge win for us as a protocol. And I am very happy in a world where Merkle with Warpcast loses market share. Like that's great. Like, you know, there was a whole narrative for the last year of like, no other clients can ever be successful. Like, you know, Warpcast is better funded and like all. Okay, narrative violation. Like that is ending.
Now we got a better funded person starting.
Right. So now I don't think Warpcast is going away, and like I think we're going to keep working like hell. You know, bringing Woj on, like we're going to keep making hires and like try and accelerate because it's good for the protocol to have the best possible clients. But I think like this is actually client diversity. Like in a world where Coinbase can actually run a Farcaster client for an indefinite period of time. They're a profitable company, right? Like, so I think like that's one of the concerns is like, oh, well, you can't have a Farcaster client that could then actually become like a long-term sustainable business, right? Like Merkle actually needs to figure out a more long-term sustainable model before, you know, so I think like for the protocol, like we now actually have new set of things to like be like, okay, this is the actual existential risk. So I think like I can see like some arguments of like, okay, well, like a builder in the ecosystem, Woj is no longer building, but we're bringing in a new big app into the space in addition to the existing clients that exist, right? It's like Recaster, HeroCast, Firefly, FarQuest, but they all benefit because now anyone using one of those apps or clients now can reach a larger audience, right? And so I think anything that drives the total number of people using Farcaster every day, and then probably a secondary metric on that is like the number of funded wallets in Farcaster clients every day for developers, right? Because that's actually what the developer is trying to do for the most part. It's like use my app and do something on chain. And so I think getting that as high as possible is like that is the goal.
This is a good question from Peachy. For small devs, should they be, or like solo founders, should they be spending time making clients or lean into frames and MIDI apps instead?
I think the developers should do what they want to do. So some developers are just motivated by like, they want to build an app and like, it just like they want, it's cool that they can build their own client. You can't really do that on Twitter at this point. That's a tinkering, like just like scratching an itch. Great, go do that. If you are telling me I want to build a venture-backed startup and like really optimize for growth, I would say one, you should be thinking about Farcaster as like an initial go-to-market, but probably not going to get you there the whole way. And that's just being honest. Now, I'd like to get the number of people using Farcaster big enough that you don't have to leave. Like that would be awesome. But I do think Frames is this like very lightweight, easy to integrate way of kind of getting distribution on Farcaster, ability to send notifications with your existing website. You have to build a website anyways, or web app. So why not build it as a frame? Like you're just going to get these additional features. And in a world where what you are building has an on-chain component, our goal with Frames is to just make the UX
make it even easier,
seamless, 100% reliable on mobile, which I think that has always been the challenge for most crypto apps. Or websites, right? Is that they work fine on desktop when you have your kind of like whole setup. But if you try to do it on mobile, it's this like dance between multiple apps. The deep links don't work. You don't get like, and that's actually nothing against the wallets. It's just the reality of how
just where we're at the moment.
Operating systems work. And so I think my belief is that the best UX for crypto apps on mobile until the operating systems change significantly is you are kind of pushing the app to the user inside an app that has an embedded wallet, right? And so crypto wallets can also add that kind of social component, which I think we're going to see with Coinbase Wallet, right? So they're starting from a wallet and becoming a social app. And I think with Warpcast, which we've talked about this at the dev meeting, and I think, kind of publicly, is we are adding an embedded wallet. People will still be able to use the existing wallet that they have, because like if you already have a wallet in Rainbow, you don't want to go move that. We think that's completely reasonable. My DWR.eth exists in Rainbow. Like I'm going to want to use that when I want to use that wallet. But there are a lot of people, when you actually talk to them, especially people who are earning from Warpcast rewards, they don't have a wallet yet. And then it's like, okay, I have to download this wallet, do the seed phrase, then go connect it to Warp. Like
you had to do that with your kids, didn't you, Adrian? Because a couple of your kids got have accounts on Farcaster, on Warpcast, and earned some rewards recently, and they were having the same kind of thing. Yeah,
I showed them from the beginning how to create a new wallet, and I got them ENSs and all that. But someone else, but you have everyone has a wallet.
There's a learning.
You just have to jump through so many hoops.
Yeah, look, I think the way to think about it is you're just leveling up, right? Like if you get more into crypto, you probably aren't going to want just whatever the limited embedded wallet is. Like you're going to want all the power features, right? And so that's where you're going to upgrade to like, okay, I'm going to go use this app, like which gives me full range of motion. And I think like registering an ENS is another good example. If you were to ask every user on Farcaster in order to get a username to go register an ENS on L1, like good luck, right?
Not happening.
Think about our in-app purchases like a blocker for people. Like now asking people to go like set up a wallet, fund it with ETH, then go get an ENS. Like, no, that is like no like reasonable person if they think about like consumer scale would ever think. And it's like crazy. You could have like a $30 gas fee or something. So I think we just have to approach it from like, make it as easy as possible for people who show up to Farcaster through Warpcast, soon to be, Coinbase Wallet, get onboarded. And then to the degree they want to do something on chain, just like that should just feel completely seamless.
Love that.
And then to the degree that you're posting interesting stuff on the network, get rewarded in USDC, which again, if you actually talk to people who are not as crypto native, it's actually somewhat stressful to get paid in something even like ETH because you're seeing your balance change literally every time you open up the app versus the normal experience for people if they get paid is that number stays the same. Yes, there's a silent killer in inflation, but that is very slow, gradual, and visible. I think most people just like to see their balance. And then the only time the balance goes down is if they choose to spend it, right?
And I know that Adrian's a fan of moving that USDC to ETH. But I still think it's smarter to do it.
I think maybe we can offer people options, right? Yeah. So it's like if you want to opt in to the upside of ETH, right? But the other thing is you could also just take the USDC and buy it.
Yeah, that's what she does. Just swap it.
I mean, and also if it's in
we love if it's in an embedded wallet, it just makes it much easier if it has a nice little swap function. So, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, is this built on, what is this embedded wallet built on? What's kind of the features going to be, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we're actively working on it. We're getting some initial test feedback of like user testing. It's the biggest new surface area that we've had in the Warpcast app. And I mean, I don't know, since DC. So like it's like a whole other, maybe frames. Okay. So it's like, so it's a completely new thing for us. Obviously there's a lot of existing wallets out there to learn from. But I think one thing we're just trying to do is like, okay, what is the simplest version that we can get out so that we can actually start learning? And it very well could be that when you're using an app like Warpcast, the types of things you actually want to do with your wallet as like the primary actions are different than if you were using kind of a wallet that is kind of like bank account first, right? So social first versus bank account first is like one way to think about that. And so, a good example is like you hit the send screen on most apps. They're like put an address or, they're a little sophisticated ENS.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that doesn't actually, I don't know people's ENS. Like I would assume maybe nownishprof.eth you own.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
But Adrian.eth, I don't think you own.
She does not.
Right. So that's okay, cool. Like that's a completely worthless thing if I want to pay Adrian. So it's
she
like
does own not Adrian.eth, or she did. She did buy not Adrian.eth. But
one nice thing about Farcaster, if you're using a wallet that like thinks Farcaster first.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm trying to send you $5 in USDC,
so much easier. Yeah.
I can just literally type Adrian, see your PFP, like, okay, like this is the person, I know this, like just like if you use Venmo, I know probably have some Europeans on the call, but Venmo is really nice in the US because it actually just tells you the number of mutual people you know, right? And so it's like, oh, okay,
Makes it
like,
easy.
this is the person that I am trying to find. And so
I do
think
like even the
simple
pay
example,
button.
but like there is a lot
It's
that
great.
you can actually do if you start from I have social context about this user rather than I have an address with balances, right?
Right.
But you know what? F Venmo, because I refuse to create new social graphs on applications. Like this is Dan why I'm on Farcaster. Like it's I need this to be the last graph I ever make.
The final graph.
The final
That's
graph.
it. I'm done.
You gotta do like the final countdown.
We're too old. We're too old for this. We can't do any more social graphs. We're done. This is it. Last
Venmo
one.
keeps asking me to add friends. Like, why do I want to add a friend on Venmo? I don't. I just want to pay you. I just
want to pay the person.
Refuse to do the work. And every time I want to pay someone, I have to go through the extra hoops of like making sure. But I just won't. So please, Dan.
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
the other interesting thing that just like in even building a wallet, and I think we'll probably be more conventional to start at least here. But like one interesting thing is you just go through the flow. So if you go through any ETH wallet's flow, the first thing they do is ask you to send it to like an address.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to Cash App, which like I think is like amazing UX for sending money,
it is.
The first thing they ask you to do is how much money do you want to send? Like, like okay, like why did crypto decide that like you start with an address, which is like this like intimidating screen? It's like kind of technical versus like if you literally open up Cash App right now, it's like this like beautiful green screen and like just feels nice every time you hit it. And so I think like one of the things that I find interesting that we're not, again, going to have day one, but there's a potential is if you start from the experience of like, just design this like you would design a normal Web 2 money experience, right? Like what are some of the things that you can just like say, okay, every other wallet does it like this because they basically all saw what MetaMask originally did and then iterated on making it slightly nicer design looking. Like literally that's what every wallet looks like. Because I'm old enough that I use Bitcoin wallets and Bitcoin wallets didn't have the same vibe for the most part of what MetaMask did in a lot of ways, right? Bread wallet maybe, but like I think it's worth like starting from not like what do crypto wallets do, and it's starting to think a little bit more like what do these like massively successful Web 2 apps do.
I didn't think about the Cash App one. I send Bitcoin to my niece and nephew, and I do it through Cash App just because it's easy, and they can easily access it, and if they do want to sell it, it's easy. So that ease of use for people who are not into crypto and really don't want to dive in, but I want to have them get exposure rather than just giving them $100. That makes it very easy. So the easier we get to that point, I think is great. And starting with the person first, like I like being able to go to a profile on Warpcast, hit the pay button and send money to somebody if I want to at that, at that moment, or tag, Paybot or whatever. So I do think that's a good approach. It makes sense.
Yeah. And look, I think we'll probably have a standard send screen because that's what people will expect. And it's like you do, but I think that there is room for improvement. How about that? And so like, I think I think what we're just trying to focus on is there's a lot of surface areas. So get something out. No, it's probably rough around the edges, but keep it as like simple and well executed as possible, and then continue to iterate from there. Probably have to run in 5 minutes, so maybe we
all right. So really quick, channels. We've gotten a couple of questions about channels and where those are going. Seneca had a good cast about this. I disagreed with him. I like channels, but I wonder with and I guess this is a question for Jesse that we'll have to get him on here and ask, does that support, extend out to something like, I know that's not at the protocol level, but to something like a Coinbase wallet? Do you see the value in channels? Is this something you're going to be thinking about? I see the value, but maybe not everybody does.
Channels are outside of creation. Everything is accessible via API. So it's kind of in this, like, it's not completely decentralized, but it's like you can programmatically do whatever you want with channels, modulo creating a new one. And so OpenRank is actually doing a bunch of work here.
Yeah.
Great. So I want to push back a little bit. It was like, there's actually a huge developer surface area for channels, more than there has ever been in the history of the feature. I think where we are basically in a holding pattern again with channels is channels don't drive growth. And the fallacy, I think, is like, oh, we'll just add one more feature, just one more feature, bro, one more feature. Or like, it's like that doesn't actually work. It has to actually have a like core thing that works at a pretty basic feature set to then actually be like, okay, let's go add all those extra features because it's only going to compound what's happening. And what we found is that channels work once you're in Farcaster. And so the primary thing to solve for is we need more people coming into Farcaster. Now, can we improve channels? Can we add like a request flow that's nice? Yes, like we could go work on all that. But you're going to make people on the existing network happy, but you haven't solved the fundamental issue. And so I think when you're just being really focused, you have to have everything flow from the top priority, which is get more users on the protocol. And so what are we doing? It is making frames better because it's the differentiating thing. It's the reason people like want to kind of come to Farcaster is the crypto nativeness, right? So making an investment long-term there so that that works, I think is important. But that doesn't actually even bring people in today, right? Like just because we have a better transaction experience is not going to like get people to sign up. They might play around with it. But I think that the second thing, and again, hiring Woj and that's the other priority is like, how do we increase the number of people inviting people on Farcaster and then the retention component as well as reactivating people. I
like the new invite flow with the recommended channels. I think is great. Like that's definitely one good approach to be able to do that and recommend channels to people. I think is helpful.
Yeah, the thing is they all feel good. Like we can make all these features and it can kind of feel like meta level, like, oh, this is exactly what I want. Oh, I love seeing my channel here. I love seeing my name here. People don't like it's just like so low. And so what we have to do is drive the number of people coming into Farcaster and then retaining. And that includes people who already have been here and then bringing them back. And then Snapchain, we have to do like the protocol. You can ask Woj, like protocol will not scale much more beyond where we are. If we had another version of like frames v1 / dgen and we had another 10x, right? It just like the whole thing will kind of fall over. Like you'll just have all these issues with other clients. And so we have to kind of make that bet. So we have
that's the focus on the foundation, the structure,
like that I think are like the right long-term ones. If we had another like unit of people, which we don't, because we're only 13, but adding people, right? Maybe we would be working on channels as another bet. But I think in our mind, frames and Snapchain are the kind of two long-term bets, and the more immediate term priority is like how do we increase the number of people coming?
So so channels will still be here. It's just not a priority. It's going to kind of just stay where it's at right now, and then maybe be revisited.
Yeah, and I think OpenRank Cura is working on some stuff there.
Great.
So I think that can work. I think I would imagine Coinbase Wallet will support channels to whatever degree that they do. But I think I think it's just like a priority thing. It's like I wish we could also be working on channels. I have a ton of ideas for channels. It's just I don't have any ideas that I think will go back to driving growth. It will basically make existing people happier, which not a bad thing, but like making people happier on Farcaster does not increase growth because basically a lot of people who are already happy with Farcaster go talk to people and then they don't necessarily like invite them and or get them to retain. So that's the thing we have to actually go solve.
This is a very important question. Toady wants to know where your sweater's from.
It's from a brand called Proper Cloth.
There you go.
If you know Dye Workwear guy.
Yes, love that guy.
Roast people on their.
By the way, it's my favorite Twitter account.
He's a big fan of this brand, and I think that they're great too.
Dan, don't answer this question. Toady's just trying to make you the Chamath of this podcast.
It's not cashmere. It's merino wool. I'm a man of the people. Okay. I think the other question I just saw in here is would adding a new users tab trending again thing that will sound good and it will feel good if you look at it. The percentage of people who will actually click through to it will it'll just be low. And so I think that's actually one thing I've learned with. I had it a little bit at Coinbase, but definitely with Farcaster, is you can go make a feature that like literally everyone will just be like, this is amazing. Like you did all the right things. It feels great, or people get excited about. Think about like streaks. starter packs. Like we've done these things. Some of them just taken from other apps and implemented. They don't actually
they don't drive growth.
Like it's like they move the needle like 1 or 2%. And so there's a strategy you could say, okay, well, just do 50 of those, and then you've had 100% increase. But I think where we still are is like it's worth us taking more bets on can something move like stuff by like 100% or 10x like that. That's actually what frames. And then I think with Degen, like you got a 10x, like it has happened. So like that is actually the thing that we have to kind of be thinking about is like what things can we work on to go towards this idea of getting more people to use the network that have asymmetric upside. And that's kind of like where we're focused.
One last question. Animated PFPs coming back? No.
We'd like to have it. It's just like a ton of optimization work. So if you want the technical reason, so what people do is they like put these animated GIFs. And we didn't have like checks for this before. So it was kind of like a loophole. And the problem is these animated GIFs are like 200 megabytes or something crazy. So the artist gets to have this like crazy PFP and it's cool. And if you have an iPhone 15 and like, you know, an unlimited data plan, like it's great. And then if you have any other phone that is not like top of the line, especially with Android, just because it's just like Apple's very good about optimizing that kind of stuff, your app just like doesn't work.
It's green bubble. It's the green bubble people. It's always them.
We're now making micro optimizations for something that actually will not drive growth. It'll make people happy. I am 100% on board with that. And on the margin, do we get like 1 or 2 artists who are a little bit more excited about using Farcaster? I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like with a small team where we just don't have the time to go do that. Like if we're spending that, we are not focused on the top level.
Yeah. Total. And it's funny because if you click on the profile pic, it's still animated. Like you can see it.
We added that back.
You got to click in. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
So if you see a yawn, you know it's animated. Just click on it. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you need to get out of here. Is that one thing I wanted to mention to you and to everybody? We do have another show called The Hub that Dilstek's been doing on Tuesdays. He did a good roundup of the dev call. He's been kind of tapping into the more tech side. So make sure you're checking that out. If you ever need to feed something to him to talk about, he'll be there on Tuesdays. Looking forward to FarCon. Are you looking forward to FarCon? Are you excited?
Yeah, New York City. Second best city in the United States.
Second best, second to what?
I don't know.
Say Boston.
Pick your favorite, Boston. But you know, anyone who thinks New York is the best city.
Stop engagement farming. People in New York never have to say we have the best city.
It's true. It's only second.
Well, no, that's the best part. Okay. New York people have to let you know that they think it's the best city, when the reality is, if it's truly the best city, you don't have to let people know that.
Whatever. Let's move on.
By the way, FarCon, we gotta let you go.
Moon Poppy sums it up. We all love you, Dan. Keep up the great work.
Well, I love all of you. So
we love you very much.
I created a new round of lightning questions. By the way, I'm not going to.
Okay, let's do the lightning questions. If
do you have time?
Yeah, I have like 2 minutes, so let's just
awesome.
Go.
Okay, hit him.
Because I was going to just do the most important ones, but let's just start. Eagles or Chiefs?
Ooh.
Oh, anyone but the Chiefs.
Yes. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I don't like the Eagles either. Like I hope a meteor strike and neither team can win, but I think if you have to pick one, I'd take the Eagles.
Lesser of two evils. I'm with you on that.
Bed made daily or leave it messy?
I don't make the bed. No.
Okay. Cat or dog?
Dog.
If you could bring one person, living or dead, to Farcaster, who would it be?
Ooh, good question. It's got to be somebody from the Roman Empire.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to get back to that one.
You stumped him.
My initial one was Jonathan Swift, who I find quite funny and I think would like work well for
interesting
a modern era, but my English major is showing.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Yeah, that would be a good one.
Most underrated Farcaster feature?
Underrated feature? The location update.
Yes.
Still the best feature we've ever launched that we never actually figured out how to like make work. And like every time I get a location update, I think it's like the coolest thing.
Actually, I like the alerts of the people who are coming back. I think that's great, by the way. Hasn't casted in a while. I think that's
I have like a whole doc. I have a bunch of docs that every so often I go into, and it's like notifications I wish existed. Like that. Yeah.
Love that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't.
Add more. Favorite V2 frame.
I mean, I'm partial to Yoink because it's on chain and you can do it, but I think Farcade wins the best executed frame.
Farcade's my favorite.
Yes. Okay.
Except for words. Dan, what is your favorite game in Farcade? Do you have a favorite? You feel like a words guy to me, but I'm not sure.
I'm not a game player for the most part. Like,
you should jump in there and just play around.
I'm bad. That's the problem. So it's like,
that's okay. We're all bad at Black Hole and whatever that new one is. They're hard. They're very hard, but they're fun.
They have a words game now.
They have a words game. You would like that one. Toady, I know you're listening.
I mean, basically what I do is I see when people do the updates, I do the quote tweet for the distribution, and then I like move on to like the next
thing. There's a lot.
We like the quote
tweet. You would like words. I can't stand it, but Toady is incredibly good at it. So I'm telling him to challenge you because you'll enjoy.
I actually do like FrameDuel because I do like Wordle.
Yep. I like FrameDuel too.
Yeah.
Guys, this is too much discussion in a
Sorry, go ahead. Quick. I know. Go ahead.
My lightning round. All right.
Ruining her
hardware wallet lost forever or seed phrase leaked.
Wait, so you either lose
your
it
choice.
because you lost it or you lose it because it was stolen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which do you prefer? Which way do you prefer to lose your money?
I think I would rather have the hardware wallet lost forever because it benefits every other holder versus the seed phrase leaked is someone stealing from you. So I don't actually want that.
All right. That's the correct answer. Favorite Farcaster bot?
Ooh.
I am partial to Ask Gina. And then Atlas is also good too. Like I used to find them all annoying and now kind of like, they're slowly bubbling up for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Clanker, I don't really think of as a bot, but like that also different. Probably there.
Time travel to the past or the future?
Past.
All right. Last one. Last thing you bought with crypto.
What was the last thing I bought with crypto? Well, is it other crypto? Does that like count?
Sure. I think we're okay.
Last physical item I bought with crypto, I don't know. I wish there was more stuff to do. Like one frame I wish existed is like, you remember Woot? Like where it's like one thing per day.
Oh,
Amazon bought it. Yeah. Now mad.com is the same team.
Yeah.
But like, I think
a really good idea.
That is like the thing I wish existed every day is like, here's this item. We have 10 of them. Like click, you can buy, and then will ship.
There's an idea for Slice. Go do that. Make that frame. That's a really
it would
idea.
just be amazing. Like I would even like, anyways, like I think it would just be really fun and social. And it's like, you'd be competing to like quickly get like who could get it if like it's some item that no one wanted versus other items. And then,
that's a really good idea.
See, like we're all old. Like everyone's like,
they're all like, they're all loving
Gen Z's like, what is that like Temu or like Shin or like whatever?
Yeah, something like that. I know. And then you're not in the shitcoin trenches, are you?
I am not. I am a terrible trader.
Good to know.
Basically, every good financial decision in my life is as a result of holding for a very long time. And every bad decision in my life is thinking that I'm George Soros. So
that you can just flip that.
I guess that's a dated reference. Whatever good trader,
whoever's a good trader at the moment.
hodl all the way.
Love it. Adrian, anything else before we let Dan go? We have a few other things we'll talk about after he leaves. We're going to talk about you after you leave. No, I'm just kidding. But anything else that you wanted to grab before we let him?
No, I mean, we didn't get to talk about the rewards and how that's going. But
all right, well, I'll give you 5 minutes. I mean, we're basically we're coming up on an hour, so let's talk about rewards. What do you want to know?
All right. Wait, what's the what? I think it's really useful. I know you're making some changes in terms of the way that the rewards are being distributed, and also you up the rewards, which is great. How are you seeing like that change that happened in this past week? Are there any new iterations coming for that?
Yeah, so I think that we started out with like a pretty limited group of people whose engagement we were counting, because I think we wanted to observe. I mean, it's limited; it's like several thousand people, but like we want to avoid having the thing get like sybiled, right? So you have a bunch of like bots, and it's like if you're just ranking all engagement the same, like it's the easiest way to have the leaderboard not feel good. And I think what we did was then we adjusted for the number of followers you have, which tended to work pretty well for two kinds of accounts. The most popular accounts on the network, which the reason they're the most popular accounts, despite the auto follow cabal meme, is the reason that people fall, like they were on that list, and it is because they got the most engagement and they stuck using Farcaster early on, right?
And they just didn't leave. They just kept being consistent too. Like kept.
Yes, this is literally just post every day. Like you're going to get more followers and stuff like that. And we, by the way, the other thing is like we adjusted for active followers, right? So we like all the followers that have churned, which make these numbers big, we remove those. And so then everyone's kind of roughly on an even playing field of how many active followers that they have, right? The second thing is we then gave new accounts like basically a boost. So you kind of like reduce the amount of engagement based on the followers you have, like you normalize it. And so then it's like you can actually be an account with fewer than 1,000 followers and compete. The group that was the most unhappy was the like what you call messy middle or whatever. And so we changed the algo to help give those accounts basically a little bit more of a boost relative to the follower adjustment happening for the small accounts. And then obviously the big accounts get plenty of engagement now because they're the biggest accounts. And so I think we're still iterating on trying to like even that out. And I think like one way to think about it is if you were to take the top 100. So ignore the top 10 because that's always going to have outlier. And like, I think it's like more about like if you were to take the top 100 accounts on the leaderboard, they should actually roughly have a distribution of like what the kind of like follower distribution on the network is for these kind of like accounts. And so I think one of the things we've done is we've increased the number of accounts that can actually count towards the engagement score, which I think that's worked. But I think that those accounts don't follow the new accounts. So one of the other things is like a lot of the bigger accounts are actually really good about following new people because they're like very pro wanting to like have Farcaster succeed. And so you have to kind of like balance that all out. So I think we're just going to continue to tweak it. And then we kind of say like, how does the distribution for the top 100 accounts like that's like up for any given week? And if that actually feels like it reflects what the network is, then the algorithm is probably good. For those who ever were at a university where you grade to a curve, that's basically what you're trying to do here is you're trying to adjust. And so it's not always going to be perfect. And there will be kind of metas that pop up. There was a bunch of like farming rings that popped up even last week. So it's like, we're going to nerf those. And I think it's just about continuing to adjust so that it feels reasonably achievable for anyone on the network if they have a good week to place pretty highly.
Which I love that. I love that opportunity for anybody to be able to hit that top level.
I want to the middle class point. I want to be like really clear.
It's kind of funny.
You're talking about people who have a bunch of followers, right? So it's like way bigger audiences than they even have on X. Yeah. So it's like, no, you're already actually in the scheme of things, like you actually have a pretty big audience and a bigger audience than you get on any other network. This is classic hedonistic adaptation, relativism. Like what you're doing is you're just saying the Joneses over here have more, I want more. Like, and so yes, it's a natural human instinct, but like on a relative basis, like the GDP per capita and then the like following audience is like pretty good, basically relative to other social media.
Yeah, I agree.
Like middle class in the United States is better than most places.
Than everywhere. Like it's upper class in many other countries. Yeah, exactly. Dan avoiding saying the word cabal. That's funny. Only use cabal unironically, people. Adrian, anything else really quick?
No,
we got like 30 seconds.
I think we covered all the major news. Probably didn't get into Snap Chain details as much. We'll let Dylan cover that. But Dan, if we kept you late, it's your fault because
too interesting.
Just stop.
He creates interesting content.
I mean, everyone knows that I'm long-winded. So
He creates interesting content. What are you going to do?
Thanks for stopping by.
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
One more thing that we that I kept seeing that was pretty awesome was people talking about, they feel like Farcaster is about to pop off. This was my favorite version of that because it was funny.
And Dan, we're going to stay in chat and just kind of rehash our own, but feel free to
but
Cheers.
so it's been great, and we think that everything's going to pop off. So thank you. Thank you for popping in. We love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye. Come back anytime. All right. That was great. That was awesome. Thanks, Dan. And we had a few other things that we wanted to just bring up, and a lot of that is there was an amazing video that was out that Cassie did, and we have to just like show some of that really quick. I did clip a little part here, which I was going to throw the music on, but I'll just do it just so you guys can see it a little bit. But it's amazing, so go check it out. The whole thing is pretty long. It's the whole song, and I don't want to get copyright violations. But it is so good, and it will get you really excited for FarCon. So go check that out. It's very cool. And if you haven't applied yet, please make sure you do, because Farcaster applications are out now. You didn't make it into the video? I'm sorry, Toady.
No, that's not what we're supposed to say. I was going to say,
it's not your worth.
If you didn't make it into the video, it's not your worth. And then you can also claim you're not in the aristocracy and milk that for engagement. I know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So make sure you go fill out your application. The first round of approvals went out the other day. So if you have not gotten your approval yet, you've applied, you didn't get approval yet, just be patient. They're just starting to go out. They have to go through them all. They're looking at everything. So just give them a little bit of time. Don't panic. And you should see something soon. By the way, I loved CJ's application notes here. I've played over 600 games of GeoCrush. I've left people on red with words for days at a time. I'm the least interesting caster in the bunch, but at least I have spunk. And I would disagree with the first note on there. By the way, did you see this?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anon Pappy, I see you in the chat. This was incredible. This was really amazing. But by the way, I didn't know that we were selling face masks too. I had no idea. He is Anon Pappy. So there you go.
That's true.
Has to be Anon. But this is awesome. This is a great way. So if you haven't seen the merch, there you go. Now you've seen all the merch. Because it's everything's in this video, including my hat. So there you go.
Everybody loves the hat.
The hat's great. I love the hat. Oh, by the way, from the video, is this the Cabal everyone's talking about? I loved that clip. That was really funny. So just a few other quick things. I'm just making sure I covered all the stuff. Oh, by the way, okay, nobody is asking the important question. What happens to the dog? Woj, we need to know. What happens to the poor little doggy? I think he'll be fine. Maybe somebody will take him over. Who knows? Maybe he'll make him CCO and he'll just become this little mascot of the whole entire network. This is really big. I want to make sure everybody who is in purple has seen this. This is from Matthew, GM. McBain and I wrote up a proposal for the FC meetup at Eth Denver and requested 3 ETH in funds to cover it. I'm including a screenshot of the proposal here, but if you own a token, would appreciate your vote. So go give this a read. And if you are a member of Purple, get to voting. It should be, I think they put it on chain yesterday, so probably it may be later today or tomorrow. It should be live for voting. So go check that out. I have a couple other quick things. Just this one little note from July, because I just like it. Life can be beautiful, and I don't have the patience for it not to be. If you're not following July, you're really missing out. Lastly, we want to shout out Lil Nouns, our new sponsor. They're amazing. Adrian went on and did a little tutorial the other day, bought a Lil Noun, did a video. it's out there. You can go check it out and see how to buy your own little noun should you want to do that. And if you do, please tag me and let me know. And I'll add you to this cute little thread that I have going of all these cute little new little nouns. So we'll talk more about that next week. Adrian, I think that was all my things. What did I miss? That was awesome. That was a great chat. That was a lot. It was a lot to process, but it was a great chat.
That was a lot. Just a heads up. I did ask Dan to come by monthly and he said he would. We just got to get on his calendar and coordinate the timing, but we love when he comes on because
totally.
We don't have to prep anything because he just talks.
And he just talks.
It's great.
Like he's a yapper. Like he could yap for a living. So it is, we always tend to run long.
I think there's something else we forgot to shill. There's a new
I'm looking for it. I was looking for it because it was not ready earlier, Toady, and now I see it.
It was a little late.
I looked before the show and it was not there, but I see it now. So 1 second, I'm pulling it up. Yes, we have one more thing to share, and that is our little recap video that we have a little collab with the amazing Zero Rights Media. And we have a very cool monthly recap that we're going to be doing last month on Farcaster. And you can go check this out. We did our top 5 things that we talked about in January that were shaping the Farcaster ecosystem. You can go check this out. And thank you, Toady Hawk and Jack Wilds. I'm not sure who did what. This editing was amazing because what we gave you was okay. And what you turned it into is beautiful. And we thank you. So go check it out.
Respect to the real editors out there. Wow.
Respect, because that is some good stuff. Because our version was okay.
It was okay, but you have no idea how long it took to get to okay when you suck at it.
I know.
I almost need to post the original so you guys know.
We probably should.
Okay.
But it looks great. It looks amazing.
Definitely check it out. And obviously, if you're watching GM Farcaster, you also are terminally on Farcaster and staying up to date. But many of your friends are not. So this is a recap to reach people not on Farcaster. Maybe people who are using Coinbase Wallet, and we'll be learning about Farcaster Wallet soon. But definitely appreciate a reshare on those.
And you can actually mint this episode on Pods. So I believe,
love Pods.
Oh, on Zora. Sorry, on Zora, not on Pods. On Zora. So go check it out. You can do that. Oh my God, Peachy, did you just get a little noun? Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
What was it? I got catch up yesterday.
Yeah, I got to tell us what the head is. I'll have to go look at it. ep212. I'm going to go look at it and I'll shout you out later today. That's amazing. Love it. That's crazy. Right. That's on Zora. You can mint it. You can go check it out. Very excited. Thank you, Toady, for bringing that opportunity to us. Amazing. And I do want to do a quick shout out to David Tifong because he was just in Africa. I don't know if he's still there for the opening of the Noun School in Uganda. And it's pretty amazing. So David, I saw you in one of the videos and it was good to see you there and can't wait to hear more about that. Amazing. So anything else before we sign off? We have, tomorrow we're doing poker. So we're going to be playing poker. I have some folks from Burr Friends Poker going to be joining us, not Burberry. She can't make it. We got some crew from Burr Friends Poker. We're going to have some Lil Nouners. If you're a Lil Noun, I've got seats reserved for every single week that we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing it for 7 weeks. We'll be chatting on stream. You'll be able to watch the game while we chat about all things Farcaster and Lil Nouns and all the fun things. And we do have some prizes. We have some cash money we'll be giving away with that. So very exciting. So if you are a holder of Lil Nouns or you are a GM Farcaster Hypersub holder, I'm going to be shooting that out. I'll let you know how many. That's so funny. How many seats I have left, and I might shout it out and look for some more folks. So if you like to play poker, let me know. The retainer had is really weird. Can't believe that's the one you picked up. I love it. That, by the way, is one of the founder of Nouns is Punk4156, and that is one of his favorite heads, is the retainer. So there you go. You're in good company. I've never understood that, but it is. It's one of his favorites. So there you go. A little bit of trivia for you. And then Monday, I'm almost afraid to say it. So Monday, we're going to come on at our regular time in the morning, and then in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern, we tentatively, no, we do. We have it confirmed, scheduled that we're going to have Luca Nets on. So we're going to do it as a special show in the afternoon, just Luca, just talking about what's going on with Abstract Chain and Pudgy and all of that. He was supposed to be here yesterday, had to cancel very last minute. So we're sorry about that. But we're gonna run it back next Monday. And then Wednesday, we have our regular show, regular time. Friday, we're going to have Debbie soon on, who wrote, whose book is launching. Very active. She's at Debbie, Debbie, on Farcaster, and her book is coming out next week, I think. So, or the week after. And we're going to be chatting with her about that on Friday. The hub will be on Tuesday with Dillstack. What did I forget? Vibe check.
I don't know. There's probably a vibe check.
Vibe check on Wednesday.
There's and just follow GM Farcaster channel.
Yeah, for all the news
and subscribe to the events so you get reminded. And there's a ton going on, and we're very excited about it. So
yeah, amazing. Peachy, that is so cool. By the way, I am going to be shouting you out and sending you some degen. We're going to be talking more about Lil Nouns. We did do, like I said, Adrian did this little video so that you can learn how to grab one. There are, at any time, there's 4 right on the website that you can pick up, so you can kind of choose. So if you want to learn more, go check that out. There is also a happy hour. I'll post something about that. That happens in the Discord. Might be on Twitter too for the first hour. I think that we're going to do. That'll be happening on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. So I'll shout that out as well. And yeah, great. So I think that's it. Oh, and Eth Denver. There was one more thing. We are having our brunch, our karaoke brunch at Eth Denver on Saturday, March 1st. The frame, RSVP frame, will be happening shortly. We'll go out. But if you are a hypersub, GM Farcaster hypersub holder or a Lil Noun holder, you'll be able to RSVP for that event. It is a free event for all of you. And yeah, I think that's it. It's going to be a lot of fun. That event is also sponsored by Lil Nouns and Farcade. And we are going to have a Farcade tournament with a new game that they will be releasing during our Eth Denver. Really excited about it. And we'll have some other fun prizes and fun things happening as well. So get your song ready. Karaoke is not required, but encouraged. Okay. Adrian, anything else? That was a lot. Thank you guys for hanging with us. That was a lot.
Yeah, just choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
That's all I can do. I got nothing else.
There's a lot happening. And by the way, there is going to be, apparently, there's one more person who's coming on to the team. He wouldn't tell us who. But I believe the announcement's coming Monday. Any guesses?
No. Me?
Any guesses? Yeah.
No, I do not have any guesses.
Okay. There is a Ponder poll. You can go make a prediction.
Yeah.
Did you see that poll, and who did you pick?
I did. My track record for Ponder polls is
interesting.
So poor.
So
that I won't do them anymore.
I was thinking it might be Ted.
I saw Ted.
Yeah. Deployer's that's an interesting idea. That could be. JTGI wouldn't surprise me. Woj wasn't a surprise. The timing was
Samuel
a surprise.
Huber or Proxy? I think
not Proxy.
No.
Not Proxy. Samuel Huber, I could see that. Or maybe Dillstack. Dylan, anything? No? Okay. All right. I think, could be Sloke. Could be. That's
Could be me.
Good call. It's not you. Better not be you. We're a team, damn it. All right. And with that, everybody, we're going to call it there. This has been so much fun. Thanks for having us. Thanks for joining today. Ted wouldn't surprise. That would be, I think that's what my pick was on the Ponder frame, but that might be too obvious. I don't know. I feel like they're still doing a lot of focus on the engineering side, but I'd love to see Ted come in. That could be amazing. So, all right. Well, we'll know on Monday, it looks like. So more on that. We will see you Monday morning. We will not be on tomorrow. We also have some other guests coming up later in this month. So Polymarket Intern is going to be on with us. So talking right before the Oscars, we'll do some polls. We'll do some predictions. So with that, everybody, this has been amazing. We will see you on the timeline, and happy Friday. Bye-bye.
It's Thursday.